Wow, it's windy. Hi guys. I'm starting the video out here in the wind. I'm not going to continue out here in the wind, but I'm outside because today's video I just want to talk you through one of our projects that we've started working on, which is the back aft section, the back deck. It's a problem. It was a problem when we bought the boat, and it's progressively just been getting worse and worse. So I'm going to just talk you through our plans and our ideas, and then once the work starts, take you on the journey with us on that as well. So I'll just give you a quick view of what the deck looks like, and then I'm getting out of this wind. Right, so here we have the back deck. So you probably can't see how bad it is, but I'm out of here, inside. Let's go. Oh, it's better. So, how big is this deck?
Good question. The deck must be 2 meters by 2 meters roughly square.
2 meters squared. So it could easily fit
2 meters by maybe 2.5 meters, something like that.
Okay. So the idea is to be able to use it effectively.
So the idea is on a nice warm summer's evening that we could sit out there and have a table running down the centre of the deck effectively, and then we can sit each side with ourselves and guests and have a sundowner and quiet drink, maybe a dinner.
There'll be more than a quiet drink. But yeah, so we can use it effectively, and we can't now.
So no, the problem is the deck that's there now must have been replaced before we got the boat, and whoever did the deck really did an absolute bodge job on it, and it's not the original deck. It sticks over the sides, the back, the aft section of the deck has got a lip that never used to be there. It's just not for the profile of the boat. It's now obviously it's got water in it. It's leaking.
So how's it got water? Because it's ply.
Because it's plywood that they've just put a thick glass chopped mat over, not even smoothed it off, and then put a top coat over.
Fairing.
Not even a fairing. It's just straight over the glass fibre.
What, paint?
No, it's a gel coat.
Oh, gel coat.
To stop it, to waterproof it. But the problem is they took it, rather than going under the windscreen, the rear windscreen, they took it up the side of the rear windscreen. So any water that went in, as the boats moved, the glass fibre has pulled loose from the wood that was there originally, and the water's just gone straight down under there and rotted
under the fiberglass.
Under the fiberglass. So of course the water's got under the fiberglass. It's got nowhere to go. It stays in the wood and just rots it out.
Okay.
So the deck's got, it's damp, it's moist, it's mouldy.
It's really mouldy.
All the interior paint's flaked off. The plywood is delaminated. The centre section of the deck is
but it's sagging.
Sagging, yeah.
But you can't actually walk on this anymore.
No. Well, you can, but I wouldn't guarantee that you're not going to go through.
I'm not having my cocktail on this deck.
No.
Okay.
You spill your drink.
And so these two main, what are these support beams?
They've obviously moulded it. So what they've obviously done is put, there's no beam underneath of any sort. There are no beams underneath this deck.
Oh, you can see that from the galley.
Yeah, from the inside you'll see that. So what they've done is they've tried to put these longitudinal supports on the outside of the deck and sort of bolt them through, and then form the fiberglass over the
Over
top
top.
of those, which I suppose has worked to an extent, but it, you know, again, it just
Yeah, but
doesn't
the
look
water's
right on the
got
deck.
no, it doesn't look right, and the water's got in.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've taken off the handrails, but now we're taking off the whole deck's got to come off.
Yeah.
So we need to replace the deck, but we need to make it a much more effective support
Yeah.
structure.
Yeah. So originally, what we were doing, what I was thinking about doing, is taking this deck, sanding it down, taking those two supports out in the middle, supporting it temporarily underneath, and to get the shape right and get rid of that
to get
sag,
that, yeah.
with just using normal props underneath that I could screw up to the right level. And then I was going to sand all of this down, the deck down, and use a fairing to get it to the right contour and the right smoothness. And then I was going to shave the edges off so that it had the right profile to the boat and didn't have those edges overhanging.
Yeah, because the other decks don't have that.
No,
the
exactly.
the four-deck.
Yeah, they're smooth round decks down onto the vertical, and whereas this overhangs the vertical. And then I was going to do the same in the aft section, get rid of that overhang, put it back to its original
Because then we
shape
can
and
use
form.
those little back doors.
Then we can put the doors in, because at the moment, because the back wall effectively of the coach roof is at an angle, you can't open the doors because there's an overhang here, and
Okay.
so they've taken the doors out and put some temporary hatch in. So what we're going to do is, what I was planning to do is take off that overhang, put a little hatch that we can just lift up, and then put the original doors back on, which I've got stored in the garage. And then we can refit the doors. I was going to make that as a plug, so that the deck was going to be the plug. Then make a mould of that plug, a glass fibre mould. Take that off and extend the forward section of the mould, so that I could get it to slide under the
back windows.
the rear windscreen, and then flip that mould over and then use that to create my fiberglass deck as a finished product.
Okay, so that would have worked, but now we're going to go with other
Well, that
options.
might have worked. I'd never actually tested it and proved it out and did the calculations. So we've been looking at other options. Other options are to have the traditional deck fitted, really, but that meant it would just normally be a ply deck with a thin glass sheet over that, faired smooth, and then painted.
But isn't that the problem we've got here?
No, because what we would have to do is put beams
for
in
support.
the galley underneath, and we don't have the headroom for that.
No, because
And we would have to have 50mm wooden beams under there to support it.
we can't do that because you can't stand up in the galley then.
Exactly. Well, you
Okay.
can, but you get a headache after a while.
You'd bump your head every time you went in there.
Don't go in the galley. So that's one option. We talked about doing the same thing, but actually just raising the deck, so that we raised it by the depth of the beam.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that we didn't actually lose height, but that meant then the deck was too high for the aft windows, so we'd have to have this funny little channel where the deck stepped down under the windows. And that didn't look, and it would just ruin the profile of the boat.
Yeah.
In a classic boat, you don't want to ruin the profile. So we've played around with a few versions and thought about how we want to do it, and I think what we've come up with is to have a honeycomb deck. So we're going to have 5 mils. We're going to put temporary beams into the deck to get our shape,
Profile right.
to get the profile right. Then we take those off to a manufacturer to roll angle iron, 20 mil angle iron, into the correct shape, and weld mounting points onto it. Then those mounting points will bolt onto the support beam that runs fore and aft each side of the
on the sides, okay.
above the windows. So those will bolt onto that, and then on top we will lay 5 mil ply that goes underneath the aft windscreen, and follows the right profile of the boat. Then we'll put a 10 mil honeycomb in, and then we'll put another 5 mil ply on top of that, and then on top of that we'll do the normal sheathing and fairing and painting, and that all goes under the rear windows, so any water coming down comes down and hits the deck, not under the glass, goes onto the top of the glass and off. So it seals it up properly.
And in the long run, we'll design the seating outside, but that's still going to be designed.
Well, so we've got to, because you can't bolt anything through this honeycomb. The honeycomb is really good for insulation, and also gives you a really good strength profile as well. But you can't bolt anything through it or to it, because obviously it's honeycomb and it will eventually just crush. So for our seating plan that we want to do on the outside is to have effectively something that's very similar to the base footing of a stanchion on a sailing yacht. To have that, to have 4 of those each side, along the line of the deck where we would have the grab rail normally, the hand rail, and for that to be secure we need to put an aluminium plate. So we cut out the honeycomb and then put an aluminium plate in.
Oh, you put 4 little plates or 1 long plate?
4 little plates. So 1 plate that's big enough to hold, to support
one stanchion
base. So we'll have 4 plates each side. And then that gets covered over by the plywood and the glass and everything. So those plates are embedded in the deck in the right place, so that when we come to put the stanchions on, we can drill through and tap into that aluminium plate without going all the way through the deck effectively.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
So we tap the footings onto the deck, not through the deck. That makes sense. And then when we're not using them for chairs, we will have the grab rail.
Like a fake grab rail.
Well, the grab rail will be over those stanchions to hide them effectively.
Okay. So without the chairs on.
Without the chairs.
Then it would just look like the normal profile from the side.
Yeah. So we don't ruin the profile of the boat. And when we want to put the chairs on, we lift the grab rails off.
Slip the stanchions in.
Put the backs, the vertical backs of the chairs. The chairs will be designed so that they can fold down. They will also have an anchor point at the front of the chair, effectively, so towards the centre of the boat, so that you don't, if you lean back in your chair, it doesn't want to bend and rip out and go over the side.
Because then I will spill my drink.
Because then you will spill your drink. I'd be really annoyed. So we're going to have an anchor point for the front legs of the chair, effectively where you're under your knees, so that you don't, your bending moment on the back of the chair doesn't rip it out the deck. And we're
going to have a little hatch at the back.
We're going to have a hatch at the back, so we can, and that hatch at the back is only going to be about 4 inches maybe. And not a sliding hatch, it's just going to flip up.
Flip hatch.
Yeah. to allow us to open the back doors, and then it can flip closed again.
And also you can pass me things from the galley.
What's the galley?
I'll show it to you when we see it on the back. And okay,
Yeah.
it sounds like a good plan.